What's the farthest distance you've ever fallen?
I don't know, like 60 or 80 feet or something, like roped up.
Is that a swing or?
Climbing ropes are dynamic, so they stretch.
Uh-huh.
So you basically, it's like bungee jumping. You just, any distance you fall is totally safe.
Have you ever bungee jumped?
I haven't.
I have.
Oh, yeah? You're so brave.
No.
Tosh Show. Tosh Show. Tosh Show for show.
Mahalo. Welcome to another episode of Tosh Show. Should we do a roll call?
Sure.
All right, Eddie. Eddie.
He's not here.
Where is he?
He just had surgery.
Eddie's not here today because he had surgery yesterday. Now, why did he have surgery? Well, he was doing a little drywall here in the studio because, as you know, he's a DIY man. And he's like, "Oh, man, you guys don't need to pay for this. I can do this drywall." And he's on a step stool, just a mere 1.5 to 2 feet off the ground. He falls, tears his rotator cuff, has to have surgery. Now he's not with us today. It's embarrassing. You know, not that he fell, but that he didn't delegate the work. There's hungry immigrants out there that would have done that work for what? 2 or 3 stray cats. But no, Eddie's got to take food out of their mouths. By the way, I'm not saying this to be funny or anything, but the drywall work that Eddie did is shit. So I'm kind of glad he got hurt. You know, he's lucky I don't replace him. You think it's hard what he does back there?
Oh, yeah.
Chiming in with A+ zingers every time, and then the noises that come out of his mouth. By the way, bigger news than Eddie's surgery is that I have new glasses.
Ooh.
Wow. I think this takes the show up a notch. Well, we should check in to make sure Eddie's not dead.
Yo.
What's the phrase that pays?
The phrase that pays is hydrocodone.
How was your surgery, Eddie?
Oh man, it was quick. It was good. I think everything went well. Just talked to the doctor. He called to check in, and he said there's a big mess in there, but everything wasn't more than he expected. It's all sewn up, and I got to be in a sling for 4 weeks.
A sling for 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's like the sling that's got the big box between you and your body, so it looks extra stupid.
You know what you should have done? You should ask the doctor if it's too late to a transition during the surgery.
Ask him that right before we go in.
And this is a typical procedure that anyone has to go through if they do any drywall?
Oh, I didn't ask him that, but I guess if you fall off a ladder, anything can happen.
How high do you reckon you fell?
I probably was maybe 3 rungs up on the ladder, about 3 feet.
3 feet.
I was on my descent. I was coming down, and the ladder kind of kicked out to the side, and I remember my head thinking, "Oh no."
And what'd your arm? Did you just land on your arm?
Landed on the shoulder and the arm.
A little bit, I remember scraping on the leg, so that must have kicked on the ladder. And then I remember the door, somebody knocked at the door, and I was still on the ground, kind of like, what happened? I kind of get up. I couldn't really use the left side because it was still so, like, just fresh. And I go to the door, and it's the property manager. And she's like, did something fall here? Did something crash? And I was like, yeah, that was me. I fell off a ladder. Eddie,
I'm going to have to tighten this up.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad the surgery went well. Again, this is your fault. Like, you shouldn't have volunteered that you can do this work. That's the problem. You got to just be like, no, guys, we have to pay a professional to do this.
I have a problem with that, saying no. Because I know I could do a lot of things, but I don't have to. And sometimes I don't do them well when I do them anyway, so.
Yeah, there's just no world where you would have said, hey, I can't do this drywall. And I'm like, you have to do it.
Right.
Is it your right arm or your left arm?
Left arm, which is good.
Good. Do you have any shows coming up that you're going to have to wear a sling?
I'll be in Boise, Idaho.
Do you say Boise like that? Or you don't say Boise?
Say Boise, yeah.
Are you supposed to say Boise versus...
in my head, I think I am.
You don't just say Boise?
Boise. Now I don't know. Now I'm confused. That could be the painkillers.
Well, we'll get to the bottom of that. All right. Well, I guess I'll see you next week in here with a sling.
Yeah, I'll be in with a sling.
All right, Ed, have a good recovery. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye, bud.
Boy, well, that's nice. That's nice. If you think falling off a ladder is dangerous, oh my goodness. Waiting to hear what today's guest has been up to. Enjoy.
Tosh Show.
I moved today's guest to the top of the list because every day we wait to interview him, the chances of him dying in a horrible accident increase. He climbs mountains for a living because he has the grip strength of a gorilla. Please welcome to sea level, Mr. Free Solo himself, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
If you would have told me 6 years ago after I watched your Academy Award-winning documentary that you'd still be alive, I would have taken the under.
No, but if anything, if you watch that film, you see me train for 2 years to do something.
Don't care.
Do one climb.
Don't care.
No amount of preparation's okay.
No, not when no one's done something.
Yeah, but there are plenty of things that nobody's done. I mean, that's
the
nature of sport. You're always trying to do something that other people can't do.
Not me. I just copy people.
That's the nature of comedy.
I see somebody that does something great, and I'm like, oh, I should try that.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Let me start with my first question. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
How about Bigfoot? You spent a lot of time in national parks.
I've looked extensively. I haven't found him.
You grew up in Sacramento.
Yep.
How'd you get into climbing?
Climbing gym.
Uh-huh.
Just like straight suburbia. Went to the gym and took to it.
Well, I have to give you a little background on my climbing. None. Well, that's not true. That's not true. One time I was in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, known for his climbing, yeah.
I was with my girlfriend. And she says, we should go climbing. There's a rock climbing gym. And I'm like, oh, I've never done that. This would be a fun date. Let's go to this rock climbing gym. Then we're at the rock climbing gym. All of a sudden, this like instructor guy comes over and like, hey, Laura, it's great to see you. Gives her a big hug. And he's an instructor there. That's her ex-boyfriend. And I'm like, what in the fuck did you just set me up for? Now I'm embarrassed. I'm trying to climb for the first time in my life.
How'd it go?
I didn't enjoy myself the whole time. I was angry at her.
And that's why it's an ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, it didn't work out. There are a lot of reasons it didn't work out, but that one really stuck out. Were you a maniac as a kid on the monkey bars and stuff?
Yeah, I did break my arm 3 times as a kid, falling off things.
Did you same arm?
No, I think 2 right, 1 left.
They healed fine?
Yeah, it's like, age 5 and 6. Doesn't make any difference.
Do you ever just train to see how long you can actually hang?
No, I've never trained that.
What is there a Guinness Book of World Record for that?
I'm sure there must be.
Are you in the Guinness Book of World Record for anything?
I don't know. Are you in the Guinness Book of World
No,
Records?
of course I'm not. But I would probably, I don't know because I've never done anything remarkable. But I certainly, if I did, I would casually pull it out and be like, well, look at page 234.
He was in the Guinness Book of World Records twice.
Oh, it was? Do you know what for?
The free solo and the fastest El Cap climb.
Oh, yeah. Those are
Fastest
notable.
El Cap climb and free solo.
That's pretty good.
You're in the Guinness Book of World Record twice. Next to those 2 big fat guys on the motorcycles.
Totally. Next to like all kinds of... Yeah, exactly.
That's, the fact that you don't know that just speaks volumes about how different you and I are. No one's ever done the climb you've done. And then the 15 training runs that you did for El Cap, no one's ever done those free solo either.
If you just counted up things that have been done in climbing that other people haven't done, then I have, like dozens.
I had a pastor. This stuck with me as a kid.
You don't really strike me as a religious fellow.
Oh, my father was a pastor.
Oh, okay.
But then I lived in St. Louis for a spell, and we had a pastor at our church, and he went rock climbing. This is a horrible story, heads up.
Okay. Love it. Let's see.
He was climbing with, I believe, his son. This is the church we went to, a Presbyterian church. He was climbing with his son. He fell a bit. He was roped in, hit his head, was concussed, unhooked, and just stepped off the cliff and died.
That's a weird story.
Yeah.
I feel like I might be missing some pieces.
You definitely are because you're hearing it from a kid that heard it when he was 8 years old.
Yeah, exactly. 30 years later with a little bit of a weird...
That was really my first introduction to people that climbed recreational.
This is why you're not into climbing. Yeah, like traumatic experiences.
It really was.
Like, yeah, no, it's terrible.
There's something about climbing. Like when I was a kid, you climb and you get up in it. But now, if I'm climbing, just, doesn't set well with me at all.
You think it's scarier now?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe just you've got something.
Probably more out of practice.
Mm-hmm. Also, I've always had that thing, and I'm curious if you have, where you just stand on the edge and then you
wonder about falling off?
You just start saying jump. Just do it. Just like the inner voice is telling you, just do it.
Well, okay. As somebody who has done probably 20 hours of photo shoots on the edge of cliffs. Like, the sun is setting and you just stand there and the photographer is like, lean over and like stand and like turn. And, I've literally done hours of like peering right over the edge of cliffs for various things. And yeah, you definitely spend, half that time being like, what would it be like if I just slipped off this and fell off the cliff? Be like, yeah, it's like pondering your own mortality.
Do you think that the producers wanted you to die?
In Free Solo?
Yep.
No, obviously not. One, Jimmy Chin, the co-director, is a good friend of mine who I've spent months with on different expeditions, and he definitely didn't want me to die. But more so, what would they do with the film? It would be this horrendous film.
Really? Or it might be the single greatest piece.
No, people would be so bummed. If everybody left the theater slightly shell-shocked and like tears in their eyes, it just would not have been the success that it was.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, have you seen the film The Alpinist? So it's another climbing film, also really well done, really well made. The guy dies in the end, and notice that it didn't have quite the same success as Free Solo.
That might have been your charisma.
I don't think there was any of that.
Did you get an Oscar?
No, because it's a director and producer.
I understand that, but they couldn't be like, listen, this is clearly your work.
Nobody cared. And even the director, Jimmy and Chai, who were married, so they each got one, but there was no offer to share.
That seems like you're a little bit bitter, but that's fair. How often do you have to continue to climb to feel like, oh, I've still got it? Or
a lot more than a lot of sports. Sadly, it's a hard thing.
You can't take 3 months off.
Fuck no, you can't even take like 4 days off.
Really?
No, I climb like 4 or 5 days a week.
People say that about comedy, like stand-up. Like you have to get up every night to do stand-up, and I'm like, oh, I'll take a couple months off.
But you probably have a good base.
Yeah, I got a great base.
And there's no fitness requirement. It's like, it's skill. I mean, because I'm always slightly envious of a lot of sports, like a professional skier or something. It's like so much of it's skill based. I mean, obviously there's some fitness requirement, but it's not like the main thing. Climbing's just not like that. Climbing, it's like if you're not doing it all the time, you kind of suck.
What about as you're aging? Where's the cutoff?
I think in general, climbing has more longevity than most sports because it's relatively low impact, barring some kind of actual accident.
Have you ever free soloed anything that you hadn't previously climbed with ropes?
I've soloed a bunch of things. So that's called onsite soling or onsiting in climbing. And I've done that a bit. I mean, generally you do that more within your grade range. Like in Morocco, I onsite soloed a 1,500 foot relatively hard wall. It was like a total experience. In general, with stuff like that, you're just much more likely to down climb or bail if you're not feeling it.
Down climb. Is that a cool word to say?
Totally normal.
I like it.
You down climb all kinds of
stuff.
You
just down climb?
Yeah, you just
down climbing, that's really hard, huh?
Depending on the style of climbing, it can be easier because it's gravity assisted. It's easier to go down than up, really.
You don't have to be as strong.
Yeah, exactly. That said, it is kind of more challenging because you're leading with your feet. You can't see your feet as well, so it's slightly harder. And then also you just don't practice it as much and it feels weird.
Do you work out?
Yeah, like all the time. Yeah, I'm a professional athlete.
Do you have a trainer for all of it or no?
In general, no, but I've used a couple sort of climbing coaching services over the years. It's not like I love working out, but I love doing things that I want to do. And so that requires working out.
Have any other climbers even come close to replicating your free solo accomplishments?
There are other climbers who have free soloed other very hard things, but nobody has done, nobody's even tried any of the things that I've done.
Do you really want to promote the sport to everyone out there? Do you have an agenda for that? Like because you love it so much, or is it just like, no, this is just what I'm good at and I love it?
I don't feel like I need to promote it, but I do just love climbing and I'm happy to share my enthusiasm.
How long could you actually hold somebody?
What do you mean holds?
If you were holding on to something.
Like cliffhanger style?
Yes.
If I was just hanging while trying to hold somebody?
A human. How long?
Like 2 seconds. I mean, you just get ripped off the wall. That stuff is totally unrealistic.
Would you instinctively kick them off your hand?
Yeah, kick them in the face.
So that you can survive?
Better one goes than two.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so there's...
No, it depends on the situation. I mean, if someone was like hanging on your back and, you were carrying like a backpack, you might be able to hold on to somebody for quite a while.
You recently rode a bicycle from Colorado to Alaska to climb a series of mountains no one has ever climbed before.
No, it's not true that no one's climbed them. We did
in one day?
Yeah, we did some new things, but people had climbed the various summits.
Do you prefer climbing in the cold versus the warm or the hot?
In general, you're better off being slightly cold than warm, just because if you're sweaty, your grip is worse.
The bike ride. Have you always been into that?
I've done 2 other like sort of month-long bike tours in the past, and then for a time I didn't own a car, so I biked a lot. So I have like a bit of a base of biking, but no, I haven't ridden a bicycle since that trip.
How was your ass after that bike ride?
Terrible. And that's the thing with biking. I was like, you'd think that after 2,000 miles you get used to it and it'd be fine. It's like, no, it still sucks.
Well, I don't know why you can't have a more comfortable saddle.
Yeah, I think because it just chafes more. I mean, I think if it's comfy when you sit on it for a minute after 100 miles, it's like too bouncy and chafy, and I don't know.
How many miles a day were you doing?
Like 100 or so.
Every day?
Every day, and then we climbed in 2 different sort of renowned climbing areas along the way.
You have no idea what like a good time is. Jesus Christ. The mountain you climbed in Alaska is called Devil's Thumb, which I thought meant something completely different. What makes it so difficult?
Oh, well, it's just like imagine the Devil's Thumb. It's like a giant spire of granite sticking out of glaciers. It's remote. It's in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. It's historically has terrible weather, though we were very lucky with a great weather window. So our experience was actually pretty chill weather-wise.
Do you study the weather?
No, I just show up and I pray for the best.
Okay.
But
you're not like, oh, I can see that there's a front developing.
No.
And
When
blah,
people
blah.
are like, oh, I see high lenticulars, it means, I'm like, no, you don't fucking know.
So I surf, and surfers always know everything about the weather and swells, and I'm always like, just tell me when it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. I'm typically climbing with somebody who's better than me at those kinds of things, and so I just let other people decide.
Do you always climb with a buddy?
No, but for stuff like that, if you're climbing on glaciers, you're pretty much always with partners because when you're crossing glaciers, you need to be roped to somebody because you fall into holes, like crevasses. Like,
You ever have to take a huge shit on the side of the mountain?
all the time. You just do it.
You ever
It's
get sick
liberating.
to your stomach and just like that type of?
Yeah, no, I've had a bunch of full-on one-handed dumps off the side of mountains when you're like literally hanging on the side of a cliff and you just hang on and you're like, oh my God, I got poop.
Do you carry some Continental wet wipes with you?
Generally, I have some TP in the bag just in case.
Good.
But-
Oh, you're like. By the way, you still have that van?
No, so the one that you saw in the film Free Solo, I wrecked that van sadly. But then I found out that my wife's pregnant right after, and so we were kind of like, well,
That van also, you're hanging from your fingers all the time in it. They did have.
I saved the hangboard. I have that same hangboard in my new van.
Do you?
Yeah.
What about you have a toilet now in your van?
No, I think that's weird. It's like, who wants to like poop in their living room? Like you just go outside.
No, you have
wander in the
a
woods.
bathroom separate.
But it's not separate because the van is just one space. So even if you put a little partition, you're still basically pooping right next to your bed.
I have to show you some better layouts of sprinters.
I know a lot of sprinter layouts. I've lived in a van for like 15 years. I have a lot of.
What
friends.
percentage of your year is in a van?
Well, in the last 2 years since we've had kids, much less. But before that, I fully lived in the van for 11 or 12 years, just straight.
You still sleep with the bottle next to you?
The pee bottle?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Even in the house?
No, not in the house.
Okay.
In the house, I use the toilet. It is better.
You got a carabiner for your keys?
No, I think that's also stupid.
All right.
Though nowadays I don't even have keys because I'm driving I just walk up and my phone works and I drive away and it's crazy.
What are you driving?
Rivian.
Me too.
Dude, so nice, huh?
Do you have the T or the S?
I have the truck.
I have the truck.
Though actually
That's
we
the
just
T.
bought the SUV.
You have a place in Tahoe?
Yeah, my grandpa built a place in 1949, I think.
And do you go to Tahoe a lot still?
I spent my summers there as a kid in the family place, like with my grandparents. Spent the whole summer.
Whereabouts? I live in Tahoe
Oh, yeah?
part-time, yeah.
South Lake.
Okay. I'm up North Lake. I'm in Tahoe City.
Oh, lame. That's the wrong side of the lake.
No, it's not. The west side, the best side.
I don't think so.
It rhymes.
Well, what rhymes with South Lake? Actually, they just call it the Dirty South, so that's like kind of less cool.
Is there good climbing in Tahoe?
It's so. In the summer, it's not great because it's too hot. I think of Tahoe more as a vacation-y place where you go hiking, you hang out with the kids, you play at the beach. It's all lovely. I live in Las Vegas full-time, and that's the best climbing in the country. So,
Las Vegas is the best climbing in the
straight up.
country.
No, Vegas has great climbing. That's the thing is the reason we live there is the local climbing is
What
incredible.
is local climbing in Vegas? Where? Is it mountains?
Yeah. Have you? Obviously
I know
you've been.
Vegas. I was there
But
this past weekend.
Have you ever been?
Didn't
to the
think of
west side
walking
town?
outside.
Yeah, exactly. Just look to the distance. Like look to the west, and you'll see these giant walls everywhere. Red Rock is this famous sandstone climbing area that's really well known, up to like 2,000-foot walls. And then behind that are these bigger limestone mountains that are covered in sport climbing areas.
Do you immediately get recognized? I know periodically you would get recognized just in everyday life, but when you're on a mountain, is it just like
Well, on a mountain, it's like pretty.
every single person?
Probably.
Are they trying to impress in front of you? Do you ever notice that?
No, well, it depends. I mean, at home crags, much less so. Like around Vegas, anyone I run into probably lives there too, and I've probably seen him at some point, or at least they know I live there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if I show up at random other parts of the country to go climbing, then people are a lot more like, "Whoa, what are you doing here?" You know, like, let's chat.
You listen to podcasts while you're climbing ever?
Fairly infrequently. I find
Do you listen to anything?
I listen to music. Yeah, I like early 2000s rock.
Do you?
Yeah.
Stained?
Not quite same, but yeah, that genre. Yeah, let's say that genre.
I don't know. Why is that my first poll?
That's great.
Maybe more like Tool.
Tool. Oh, okay. Have you ever been to the Sphere?
Yeah, I have. I saw U2 there.
Did you enjoy it?
I don't totally love the music, with all respect to U2, but I was kind of like, you know.
Did you climb it?
No, because I don't want to get arrested. But this other guy climbed it and got arrested, and now he's like facing probation or something for this like climber in town.
Are you allowed to climb any the buildings on the Strip?
Dude, just a couple weeks ago, or last month, GQ randomly reached out to do some urban photo shoot thing with me. So we like prowled around and sold the sides of things. And then as we were leaving, you could hear guys on radios being like, "Can you go check out the guys on top of the parking structure?" And we were like, "Oh, geez." But no, I haven't sold anything meaningful there because I don't want to get arrested, and it's not worth the headache.
Do you watch those videos of like those Russian kids that like do the crazy?
I've seen photos of that stuff. Yeah, it's.
I mean, they're fearless. The things that they would do just for shits and giggles. I'm like, remember that one video that swing that they had off like an abandoned high rise?
Yes.
Holy cow!
Just a rope swing.
Kind of.
But that seems safe.
Right? Oh yeah, it was real regulated.
Well, if you rig it yourself, you can make it as safe as you want.
How do you deal with the heat in Vegas?
For climbing, there's climbing at 8,000 feet. It's north facing. It's full shade all the time. There's no humidity. It's like, it feels fine.
Your North Face, is that your main sponsor?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, how does that work with a sponsor? They cut you a monthly check?
Yeah. They just pay you a salary to represent.
But monthly?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, it goes through an agent and like.
You just get the check when you get it?
Well, I don't even think I get checks. I think somebody else gets something and it puts it into account. I just don't even stress it.
Yeah. And is that like the bread and butter sponsorship money?
It definitely used to be. In general, that's the thing for if you're a professional climber, you're probably making your living off sponsorship. For me, it's a little bit different now because of the success of free solo. I make a lot more from corporate speaking and things like that. And
do you hate the commercial speaking?
No, it's like,
I mean, but you say you get nervous in front of people.
Oh, I'd say I used to get nervous in front of people. Now I just don't care anymore. Now I've done enough that it's pretty chill.
What's like one of the worst ones where you're like, oh, they set me up on this. I'm taking the check, but this is not.
I don't know if I've done anything bad. I think the ones that I dislike the most are like a sales conference or something where you stand on a stage. It's insanely bright lights. You're in like some auditorium and there are like 3,000 people and you can't see any of them.
Okay.
And you just speak into the void in some like echoey, boomy box, and there's like no feedback. You have no idea what happened. And then you see the timer, and then you walk off, and you're sort of like, I really prefer smaller groups where you can like chat with the folks and take Q&A and like, you know.
I always just find that stuff like demeaning when they have this money, these companies, and they're like, oh, we wanted a comedian, so here, come tell jokes in front of us.
You find it demeaning until they pay you, and then you're like, man, I love that.
I do.
I think of myself as a piece of meat that gets shipped around the country in a little metal box. I'm like, honestly, for half the work things I do, I'm like, they could just like gag me and put me in the back of the car and drive me there, and it'd be the same thing.
How long when you do a public speaking engagement?
Whatever people want.
Well, how long would you be? What if they said do 2 hours? Would you be like, I'm not doing 2 hours?
No, I'd just get into some crazy stories or something. But I would go deep into like, okay, well, and I probably have 30 minutes of good material. And beyond that, I'll just tell, you want to hear one-handed pooping stories? I got a couple, and they're each insane. And if you set them up, then that'll take some time.
What do you think of Patagonia?
Oh, they're great, amazing.
Are they a sponsor too?
They aren't, because they compete with the North Face.
Well, that's what I thought.
But incredible brand. Actually, on the Devil's Thumb expedition thing last year, when we were biking up to Alaska, we stayed at Yvon Chouinard's house for 2 days. The founder of Patagonia. Mm-hmm. I mean, for an 80-year-old billionaire, he just like hung out and cooked his beans and rice and chit-chatted, and it was amazing. I was like, what an inspiration. He's the man.
Do you hate that tech bros ruined the bubble vest?
Like what did you just say? Like, what is a bubble vest?
Like sleeveless vest jackets that are kind of cool that were meant for like climbers and hikers, but now like all the tech.
Oh, you mean a down vest? Oh, there are no bubbles inside. That's feathers.
Don't they call it a bubble vest?
Yeah.
Some people call it a bubble vest.
I've never heard that. But yeah, down vest. I got it. It's full of feathers.
All right, you get the point.
Yeah, I got it.
Do you own any vests?
I think vests are totally stupid. I was like, why would you buy a garment with no sleeves and no
Stop
hood?
it. They look good. They look good in certain environments. And it's nice. It keeps you warm. I have a couple vests.
But like
that
the point of a down jacket is to keep you warm.
Yeah,
But
I
if
know.
you're trying to stay warm, you should have sleeves.
But you
and
also
a-
need
and a hood.
mobility.
Actually, no. So I do have some friends who are professional alpinists who swear by vests as like part of the layering system.
Uh-huh.
Because
Thank
they don't
you.
want too bulky. Like they don't want too much stuff on their arms. And yeah, I think it's stupid though.
Are you still eating like an idiot?
You mean like simply?
Yes.
Yeah.
The spatula?
Yeah.
You're not.
No, it's like now we have a house, we have plates, we have all the things. But if I'm by myself, then yeah, I just do whatever's easiest.
I didn't want that to be the case.
It's the simple life.
Uh-huh.
Well, why do more dishes than you need to?
It makes me laugh. That makes me laugh. It makes sense. Why do more dishes? You went to Berkeley, studied civil engineering, but dropped out.
Indeed.
Why?
I didn't have any particular aptitude for engineering, and I liked rock climbing a lot more.
You think you'll go back and finish up?
I for many years I did. I was kind of like, oh, I'm taking a semester off. I'm taking 8 semesters off. I'm taking 24 semesters off.
Do you know the number now?
Well, no, it's like 15 years. Yeah, I'm at like 30 semesters or something.
You respect those American Ninja Warriors?
I mean, yeah, it's hard.
It's in your wheelhouse. You probably could.
Oh, I think I could do the course. I don't think I'd win though because it's for time.
I got you.
I wouldn't be nearly as fast as people who are good at it.
Do you enjoy the speed climbing in the Olympics or no?
Yeah, actually, I'm really into it. I mean, they're climbing 45-foot wall in 4.5 seconds. It's crazy.
It doesn't look like they're human, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
When they run up walls.
They're back to their origins as apes.
Your mother at age 66 and at 70 became one of the oldest persons to ever climb El Cap, which begs the question, is it really even that hard?
No, I mean, I would say no. I would say anybody could do it.
You could take me up.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Uh-huh.
With 2 weeks of practice. I mean, she put a lot of effort into practice training, like learning systems, learning the ropes and stuff. But then we spent the whole freaking day going up there, and it was a total life experience. And she got crushed, and it was like the biggest adventure of her life.
I love it.
Like you could definitely do that. You're a lot more fit than my mom.
Well, I don't know your mother, but that's very nice of you to say. Okay, how long have you been married?
I don't know, 6. No, I don't know,
Okay.
4 or 5 years.
Same. Were you registered at REI?
Yeah, I have an old account. Yeah, I get my little.
No, we registered at REI for your wedding.
Oh
for
no,
people to
no,
buy
I
gifts.
was strongly anti-gift. I don't know if we got anything. That's
The
all my
wedding
life.
cake, was it one giant Cliff Bar?
I got fired by Cliff Bar, so I have bad blood with Cliff. But no, I'm kidding. I don't have bad blood. But that's
you
a
did
long
get fired
time.
with them?
I did get fired. Yeah.
I don't like them anyway.
They dropped everybody on the team that did risky things, basically.
Huh.
I was kind of like, come on, guys.
I never have been into eating any type of protein bars or things like that. They've always tasted gross. I don't like them. But one time I found a bar that I liked. It was a Luna bar. It was like a mint jar or something. But then I found out that it was for women.
But it's still essentially a candy bar, so you may as well just eat it.
I thought I was okay. But then I thought I started developing breasts. So I was worried. I was like, oh man, I shouldn't be eating this thing. You moisturize or no?
No.
Is that bad for future grip?
It is, yeah. Well, skin is a total thing for climbers. Everyone's like either your skin's too hard or too soft or whatever, and you're always trying to make sure it's better than it is.
Let me feel your hands if you don't mind.
Just
Just give me how would you shake my hand?
no,
You definitely have some calluses. They're strong. What do you weigh?
like 160 right now.
How often do you weigh yourself?
Like twice a week, let's say.
In the morning?
I only weigh myself if I've woken up, taken my morning poop, and then weighed myself.
With the same
Without-
person.
Yeah, well,
I do that as
but
well.
the thing is, though, that I have to get up with our older daughter every morning, so I generally wake up with the baby, and then things happen, and then I eat breakfast and do whatever, and so I rarely weigh myself just because normally the day gets away from me.
How has your sleep schedule changed since having children?
Yeah, it's like somebody ran a truck over it. It's like
Were you? Normally, what time did you used to go to bed?
10, 11, maybe like 11, 11:30, and then sleep till 7 or 8 or something. Kind of.
And now,
it totally
have you shifted it?
Oh,
to go
now it's just a complete disaster. It's just you go to sleep when you can, and you get up as soon as somebody starts to cry.
You have 2 daughters?
Yeah, I have 2 daughters, 7 months old and 2.5.
That's exciting, right?
I'd say it's only getting better.
The one thing that always struck me was that you don't have the same level of fear that a lot of people have. But does that transfer to all types of fear? Like, do you have fear for your kids? Like, you're like, oh, I don't want them to get hurt. Or you have no fear for anything?
No, it's not that I don't have any fear for anything. And I mean, I do. I definitely don't want my kids to get hurt. But I would say I probably have a much higher tolerance for risk with my kids. Like actually my 2.5-year-old just learned to climb this really steep ladder in this place that we were staying. And, I was like, that's fine. I'm spotting, I'm paying attention. I'm teaching her to, I'm sort of watching. But I'm sure a lot of parents would feel very uncomfortable with their small daughter climbing up and down this like steep, rickety ladder thing. But I'm sort of like, if you're there.
You can catch them, that's not an issue. But if she was up there by herself, unsupervised, would you be like, oh, I hope she makes it? You'd be nervous.
No, I would definitely supervise.
Uh-huh. All right. So you're not wired completely. You're not like a maniac.
No, I don't think so.
How much parenting are you doing? You doing 50%? Where are you at? What percentage?
Probably less than 50, but I would say a lot. I think, I do mornings and evenings every day, even when I'm climbing. I think I'm a very involved parent.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever like when things are tough as a father or a husband think, you know what? I'm just going to go for a real reckless climb right now.
No. Even back in the day, before having a wife and kids and all that kind of stuff, I occasionally did some solos where, I'd have like a bad breakup or some dramatic stuff going on, things in life. And I'd be like, oh, screw it, I'm going to solo this thing. But it was never like, I just don't care, I'm going to kill myself soloing. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm going to harness this angst and I'm going to do something I've always wanted to do. Like, this is so exciting. Because generally when I feel like that kind of level of screw it, it's like, screw it, I'm going to eat 2 boxes of donuts and watch 4 movies in a row.
What's the most you've ever weighed in your life?
Coming home from the Devil's Climb thing, the bike tour to Alaska, I was like the heaviest I've ever been. My legs were way bigger from biking 2,400 miles. And I think I was just heavily inflamed. I was kind of unhealthy, like basically going hard like that for a long time. I felt less fit actually than when I started, sort of counterintuitively. It was like I did too much and was like, I'm dying. But then my wife called me Husky. And I was like, oh, Husky, come on.
You ever return the favor to her and call her Husky?
I try my very best not to. But 2 pregnancies in the last couple of years, you're like,
Don't lie to me. How many times have you watched Free Solo?
Not that many. All the way through maybe, I don't know, 36 or something. Okay. I mean, all part of the tour, so like the premiere at the different places, like with certain audiences, like certain screenings.
Are you excited for the day that you and your daughters sit down and watch it together?
I don't know. They're going to be like, Daddy, why are you so mean? Why are you such a psycho?
Yes, some of that will come through, but still, that'll be a pretty neat time capsule.
Actually, my wife was joking about at what point our kids will notice that it's unusual to know all the people in the movies they see or films and stuff. Because the kids have seen like the Devil's Climb thing, with me and Tommy, and they're like, oh, Uncle Tommy, that's cool. But so they're sort of used to seeing stuff on screens where it's like, oh, people they know. And like,
why don't you watch better movies? Jeez.
Well, it's that
with your
Frozen.
kids.
Yeah, I've been watching that in Frozen too. So,
By the way, I'm going to go on record right now, and this is controversial.
Frozen 2 kind of sucks.
I think Frozen 2 is better than Frozen 1. I
haven't finished it yet. I only made it halfway through.
The soundtrack, no. The soundtrack is not as good, but the story itself in Frozen 2, I prefer.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, we'll see when I finish it. Because somebody said the second half improves.
You ever go to a spa?
No.
You laugh at me for that question, but like, if anybody really should just lay there and get like
I get body work once a week.
You get body work
when I'm at home. We have this body work guy in town. He's amazing.
Okay, so
Pat,
you're not doing.
Shout out to Pat. He's the world's best body worker.
Pat's the world's best body worker?
I think so. Yeah, for like deep tissue massage, Pat does.
I don't like deep tissue. It hurts.
But that's the point.
No, I don't want that. I want to fall asleep.
Yeah, well, that's a different kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like I want like a mechanic to just get in and like break some things with his tools.
I want beautiful, soft hands, and I want to fall asleep. I want it to be peaceful.
No, I've got my man Pat, and we just talk about football or something the whole time, and he just like breaks stuff up.
What's your football team?
Whichever one wins the most.
You're just a front runner?
I just like to see excellence.
Oh, look at you.
I want to see.
Do you care about college football or no?
No, but I do like that the games are so high scoring that they look like basketball games. When it's like 84-72, and you're like, how the fuck do you score so many points?
You think that's crazy? How about the fact that Vegas can predict those spreads of 57 points? I'm like, that's ridiculous. Everybody that's on my show gets a gift, but it's just stuff from my house I'm trying to get rid of.
I do a lot of that too, just giving people my trash.
Yeah, but this is a funny gift to me. This I wanted you to have. It's a serving spoon, but my son and I were on the beach. All we ever do on the beach is look for treasure, anything that's been left behind. And one day we found this serving spoon. And my wife has nice dishes and nice serving spoons.
She didn't want your serving spoon?
No, so listen, this is years we've had this.
Okay.
And every time we'll have like a real dinner or friends over, I will put that serving spoon into the dish, and she will just be outraged, like, he thinks it's so funny that he found that on the beach, and then everybody's like eating at our house, like, the fuck, this was on the beach. Anyway, I think you should have that. That could be your new cereal spoon.
Okay.
All right. This I got for you. This will be for your 7-month-old. This is a fun one. It just hooks onto your shoulders like this, and then it's like Swedish, so it's simple. And then the kid just sits up there and they love it. They strap in. Oh, by the way, it comes apart. Boom.
Wow, you could do a commercial.
Oh, no, I don't do commercials. I don't know how you're going to get this home. But
Wait,
you're giving that to your daughter?
You are literally just taking all the trash out of your garage.
Get this off the desk, please.
Yeah, okay.
I got more stuff coming. Hold on, we got to get the spatula off.
Okay.
This is all just the cute clothes for the 6-month-old. Oh, look at these pants, little flare
Those
leg.
are actually my wife's gonna love that kind of stuff.
No, she's gonna love it. And there's a lot of stuff is good and hasn't been worn. Look at this cute little swimsuit. She'll love everything.
Dude, this is great.
Oh, I got it. Look at this little tiny vest for her.
Yeah, that's
now
that's really cute though.
Oh, wait. Look at this. Look at these flare jeans. Are you kidding me?
Dude, my wife is gonna love this.
I know. That's what I want you to go home. She'll be happy that
she's gonna be shocked that I have nice things for a baby.
Let me put all this.
But also,
back.
how do you still have all this? I thought you said your kid was a 5.
I have a 5-year-old boy and a 1.5-year-old girl.
Oh, wow, you're in it still.
No, it's the easiest thing in the world. Couldn't be easier. Love it. Here, get this. Oh.
Nice. So your daughter just aged out of all this?
Yeah. Here, because I know that you have a Rivian. I have some aftermarket Rivian stuff for you.
Oh, yeah?
My brother, the tech guy in the family, he's some of this stuff. I'm like, no, you're going to, he writes these long letters to me.
Dude, your brother, what a dude.
This is a wireless charging pad. The wireless charging pad on the Rivian is terrible. My brother writes. This pad slides on top of it, plugs into the USB port in the center well, actually works.
Yeah, but I just have a plug, and then you just plug in your phone. Who cares?
And you're resisting like I am. He's got this thing.
No, I'm strongly anti weird phone stuff.
This goes like into like the air vent, and it like sticks out.
Actually, I would try that. Do you not want that?
No.
I think my wife would be really into that.
I think she would too. What is this? I don't even know what he's got me here. Removing the airbag warning stickers on the sun visors would be tough, and you may damage the fabric. Instead, use these custom stickers to mask the warnings. My brother and I are the same on that stuff. I hate seeing like a big warning sticker. Yeah,
I see it.
I'll keep that. Oh, this I don't want. This is like fits into
I don't
the thing.
think I want
a
this
bigger
either.
cup holder.
What is this?
Because he doesn't like the cup holder. He thinks the cup holder's flimsy. So
This
that goes on
fits
that
into where?
base, and that's a much bigger cup
Oh,
holder.
in the bottom.
Yep, the bottom part.
Oh, classic.
That's a your call on that one.
Oh, this is weird. You're sure you don't need those? Well, I know you don't need those, but you sure you don't want to keep them?
Yeah, I they're gifts.
No, I appreciate
Okay,
that.
Alex?
Thank you. Yeah, it's very meaningful. Yeah.
I don't like that you don't want to accept my gifts. Do you have any hobbies where mistakes don't result in death?
I do the New York Times crossword every day, and that mistakes just result in frustration.
Were you a Sunday clue?
I was a clue like last week.
On
It was
Sunday?
amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
I've been a clue, but not
Oh, yeah.
not a Sunday.
Wow. Yeah, I've actually I've been a clue a couple times in different ways. Not like
Mm-hmm.
my name exactly, but El Cap and free solo stuff. And then but being in the Sunday cross, I got more texts from friends than I had from any climbing achievement in like a decade. I was so psyched. I was like, oh, I made the Sunday Times.
Here's what I've always liked about my own and the shoes that I wear. I don't have any desire to do things, but I just love when other people can. I'm fascinated by your journey, but no, you'll never see me paying whatever it costs to do Mount Everest.
But I feel the same way about tons of things. Like
Uh-huh.
I would never ever do comedy. I'm like, no, that is not for me.
I think it might be.
I hate public speaking. I hate being
So
in front
do
of
I.
crowds. I'd never choose
I hate
groups.
that too.
What do you? Then what
Well,
are you
listen,
doing?
I didn't have a lot of choices. I couldn't climb a goddamn mountain, that's for sure.
Yeah, but did you went to college somewhere though?
I
So-
did.
So you get a job. You know?
No, there's no one's hiring. That's why I got into comedy. I wasn't. Those interviews weren't going well. What is your opinion, just real quickly, on Mount Everest?
The whole guided, like the commercial guided thing on Everest, I think is a little bit weird. I mean, I have a lot of friends who make livings as guides, so obviously I don't want to poo-poo their profession. but it's a little bit weird to sort of outsource your risk. Like when you're hiring, Nepali porters or Sherpa to carry your loads for you, to set everything up for you. It's like, it's not really climbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not what I think of as climbing. It's like you're paying somebody else to do all the work for you so that you can tick a box and say that you achieved something.
Yet some of them still die.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. And so despite all that, it's still very challenging. It's like, I'm sure I've never done it, but I'm sure it's still physically very demanding.
What I'd like them to do, and I'd consider it, is building a gondola up there. That would be nice.
Well, go to Europe, there's a gondola practically every mountain. No, but that is kind of that is the weird thing. So like the south side of Everest, the Nepali side, which gets more of the commercial traffic, to get up there, you have to go through this thing, the Khumbu Icefall, which is incredibly dangerous for porters and people that commute through it back and forth. There's a lot of random risk. It's an icefall, so there's pieces falling down all the time and people die all the time. And so there are legitimate proposals to put a gondola past it so that you would just go from the base camp sort of like to Camp 1 and skip this really dangerous part of the thing, which you're like, yeah, it makes sense and it's certainly safer for some folks. But at a certain point, you're like, dude, if you're taking a gondola up Mount Everest, like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. You put a moving sidewalk, I'll stand on that too.
Yeah, I mean, it does raise some interesting questions. It's like, why do you climb? What's the purpose of climbing? All those kinds of things.
Are you turning into a normal dude?
I don't know. I'd say I still have some ambitions.
Are you done with free soloing?
No.
Should you be done with it?
Well, I don't think so.
I mean, I do recall a quote in the movie, I think it was your wife that said something to the effect of, if we had children, I might, want to put it.
More of an opinion.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that my wife's opinion matters a lot more in climbing plans now. I mean, certainly it's like more of a team effort.
By the way, are we not supposed to ever talk about this kind of stuff? Are you like a pitcher in baseball that's doing a no-hitter and it's like, don't jinx them, don't ever talk about that stuff?
No, I would say I'm the least superstitious person.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm not superstitious in any way.
Climbing in general, you talk about risk, you talk about death, like all that stuff comes up all the time. Like you have to think about it.
I talk about death every day, like constantly.
I mean, the thing is, I think the more you know about climbing, the more you can appreciate the nuance, like the subtlety of risk taking. Because not all free soloing is extreme death defying. Like it's not all El Cap. It's like you can go soloing and have a lovely time and keep it chill.
How embarrassed will you be if you end up dying by choking on a carrot or like tripping on your front porch?
That I wouldn't totally mind. I'd be more embarrassed if I died falling off something. Just because it's like if you stick it, everyone's like, what a hero. But if you die making some mistake in the mountains, and it was like, what an idiot, kind of cast doubt on everything else you've ever done.
I don't think it would. I think your mark is cemented.
We'll see.
Well, listen, Alex, thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
I wish you the best.
I've literally never been on a show where I get to leave with all kinds of goodies. It's so cool.
All right, let's go climb something.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Tosh Show.
I want to thank Alex for being on the show. We just finished free soloing the Culver City staircase. Unfortunately, on the down climb, he died. Yeah, it was tragic. On a positive note, I got Ava here and Carl. The reason both my dogs are in the studio today is because I am terrified that one of them could end up in some Haitian stomach. I was telling Rufina, I was like, Rufina, have you heard about all these illegals coming into our country and eating our pets? She assured me she's never done it. She's a wonderful woman from Mexico. But what if she looks at Ava and just starts snacking on her? All right, now it's time for Tosh's teaser, brought to you by DraftKings. This week, I'm going with Thursday Night Football in the NFL. The Patriots versus the Jets in a battle of the AFC East for who do I hate the most. Currently, the over-under is 40.5. I hope the game ends in a 0-0 tie because I hate them both, and I hope they never score. Is that possible under new overtime rules? I can never follow. I think the Jets' Achilles heel is Aaron Rodgers' Achilles heel. What do you think of that? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code TOSH. That's code TOSH for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet with just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Offer ends 9/19. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Let's do our plugs. We got Boys Wear Pink. Go see Eddie Gossling. Check out my tour dates. New show in Reno just added in December. Oh, that'll be fun. Speaking of great football, it's time for our free plug segment. And today, I want to plug the Cuyahoga Falls varsity football team. That's in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Good luck in your big homecoming game this Friday the 20th against Relyea. Now, I know they've embarrassed you the past 4 years. Constant butt f***s. That's what Relyea has done to Cuyahoga Falls. But this year, Cuyahoga Falls, I'm hoping with the support of Tosh Show, turns that butt f***ing around and starts f***ing that butt. Everyone here at Tosh Show is sending you positive vibes. Go Black Tigers. Head on down to Clifford Stadium this Friday at 7 p.m. for some Friday Night Lights. See you next week.
Tosh Show. Tosh Show. Tosh Show for show.